Okay, good evening, everyone. This is the regular meeting of the Romeo Planning Commission for September 10, 2020. We're going to begin tonight's meeting with a public hearing to review a special land use requested by Sirikoffs and Associates, LLC, for 104 South Main. If you have a comment, just ring in and pros and cons, and let's begin.
No. I'm here, the attorney, Patrick McKay for Sirikoff and Associates. I represent Sirikoff and Associates on this application. Tom Sirikoff, the representative as well for Sirikoff Associates, is present online, as well with Dustin Bruner, director of AAA Michigan. We're seeking a AAA club member special land use here under 463122 of the zoning ordinance. We feel the AAA club membership is a use consistent with the public safety and welfare of the local community. The intent of the Central Business District Ordinance is that of a specialty center and to permit a mixture of mutuality, supporting convenience, comparison, specialty, and service commercial uses. This establishment will be a service use dealing directly with customers. The use is similar to uses permitted in the CBD, such as banks, travel agencies, private clubs, professional and business offices, and offices and showrooms. Other examples of similar service uses in the district are Tar Financial, Suzanne's Income Tax Service, Keller Associates Real Estate, KW Lakeside Keller Williams, and Paramount Building. The use complies with the special land use standards as set forth in our 7-page letter we submitted with our application in support. I hope that the commission members got to review that. If you have any questions on those standards, myself or Tom would be glad to answer questions of the commissioners. We believe it'll be in harmony with what is going on in Central Business District. It will be a first-class run business, and that I guess I would open it up to any questions that the commissioners would have for Tom or myself.
Well, at this time,
is there any way of getting them on the screen, or we can't see them?
Zach, you would probably have to push speaker view instead of gallery view, I think, on the top right corner.
Here it is. I can see inside talk.
Speaker view.
Yep. Hello.
Oh,
okay, for all commission members, at this part of the meeting, you will refrain from comment. We're going to visit this later in our meeting, and then you're welcome to make comment. But for this part of the meeting, it's strictly the public and the applicant. So let's move on. Anyone else like to make a comment?
From the public?
Yes.
My name is William Parker. I own the building directly behind where we're talking about, and I'm here only to support it.
You support the special land use?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else like to make comment?
Yes, my name is Gregory Tarr. I own Tarr Financial, 167 South Main. I would support that special land use as well.
Okay. Anyone else?
Actually, I'd like to make another comment, if I could.
Go ahead.
I would have the commission please note that that building or the adjoining building has hosted an insurance agency for a good share of the last 50 years. So it's a historical use for that particular area. And if you'd like, I can enumerate the numerous insurance agencies that have been there.
Well, I don't think that's necessary. We do have your paperwork. Everybody's read it.
I have no paperwork I submitted. I just was,
Well, if it, I don't think it's necessary.
Thank you, Lisa.
Not at this time. So anyone else like to make comment?
I would like to make a comment, if I can.
Go ahead.
I'm Megan Poznansky. I am a current village trustee, and I would like to say as long as this falls within our ordinances, I would approve this, and I would be in support of it.
Okay. Lots of support so far. Anyone else?
My name's Tom Surkoff, and I support it.
We're open. We had 28 people. Go ahead and make a comment.
I'm Nicole Morris.
My name
Morris Natural Health, another business in Romeo, and I'm here in support of Tom as well.
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Holly Surkoff. I'm Tom Surkoff's wife. I had a conversation with Christine in the month of August, and I just wanted to express that Tom and his partner Pete are stand-up guys, and we have between us 9 children going to school in Romeo Community Schools, and they will do nothing but do their best to support the community, and we live there. So we're there to do the right thing for Romeo.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, this is John Poznansky. I also support this, bringing the AAA into downtown Romeo.
All right. We move on. Christine, anybody else want to make comment? Do you have anybody queued up?
Mr. Stegner, Chairman Stegner, no one has raised their hand, or I don't see any group chat. So
Okay.
at this time, we're good.
Well, okay, I guess then we'll close the public hearing portion of tonight's meeting and move on to the regular commission meeting. And we'll begin with roll call.
Stegner,
Here.
Fowler,
Yes.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Foltz,
Here.
Smiles,
Here.
Hall,
Here.
and Webb.
Here.
All right, we move on to approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any comment or additions to make? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for tonight.
Second that motion.
All in favor? Oh, well, we can't do that. Roll call vote, please.
Webb,
Here.
Smiles,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Grandstaff.
Yes.
Okay.
Stegner, yes. I don't think you called my name, but we move on to approval of the meeting minutes from August 6th.
Make a motion that we approve the August 6th minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion by Fowler, second by Mr. Webb.
Roll call.
Stevens,
Yes.
Smiles,
Yes.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Stegner,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
okay,
Okay, motion carried then.
yes.
So we move on now to our public forum. People can make comments that they'd like to make about anybody have anything to say? Sorry. About anything relative to what we do. Okay, now let's move on to new business. I'm going to close out the public forum. I'm sorry. So that's closed.
Okay.
And we'll, actually, we need a, do we need to make a motion to close that, or can I just close it? No.
You do need a motion, Chairman.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we close the public forum. Second, somebody, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Second by
Grandstaff.
Stegner, was that? Second by Grandstaff?
I couldn't hear. It was muffled at my end.
If he doesn't take it, I got it.
Either one.
Either one of us is fine.
Okay.
Roll call.
Hello, Bill.
Sir.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Stevens. Stevens,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Smiles,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion carries. We move on to new business. We begin with Steve Casson review. Mr. Casson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Over the last few months, this has had a lot of discussion of the office staff, through myself, through the petitioners, in regards to what exactly this use was. As you may have been familiar, the allowed uses in the CBD and permitted uses in the CBD is a travel agency, although insurance sales probably isn't. So there was discussions on, you can see the application there for certificate. Was it a travel agency or insurance agency? Or was it an insurance agency selling travel? So, I mean, because of the discussions and because of the dissenting opinions of all involved, I believe the office staff, the president and the clerk and the staff made the wise decision and the correct decision to refer this to the Planning Commission to determine whether it should be allowed subject to special land use approval. And if it's approved, I think it's better in the long run for the petitioners, because then they're not always looking back or having people questioning them about what really it is, or, you know, you're really not selling enough travel or services or whatever. So I think it's proper and the correct way to do it. And what they're doing in this request is they're requesting a special land use to have a professional and or business type office on the ground floor on Main Street in the CBD, the Central Business District. The ordinance, the zoning ordinance as it stands today, allows you to grant that on the ground floor subject to special land use approval. And that includes, as you're aware, a public hearing and then input from the Planning Commission. And the petitioner's attorney stated it correctly. There are a number of standards that have to be met, some of which are discretionary to your opinion, and some of which are not. And those standards have been specified in both the response from the attorney and also from the petitioner's attorney, and also you see those in my review that was sent to you. In reviewing those, I do feel that the minimum conditions have been met, and and then the decision should be up to you whether you feel this is a correct, whether this is a proper location for the facility itself. Again, though, I do believe they meet the minimum conditions of to be approved. If you do decide to deny it, however, you need to have valid conditions of that. And I think at this point, the village attorney for his comments.
Mr. Clark.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, everyone. I do believe, looking at the permitted uses, if a travel agency, and I expressed an opinion about this, if a travel agency is the basis on which the use was to be made, while that is a principal permitted use, it cannot be, and not just a travel agent, but any of the principal uses cannot be used as a Trojan horse to introduce some use that isn't permitted. And so I do agree with Mr. Casson that the posture of this is appropriate, that the use as a travel agency, if it's not principally a travel agency, was not appropriate. And so here we are. Again, I believe in the proper posture of considering the special land use. There are 8 factors in your ordinance. Mr. Casson touched on those generally. If you apply those factors to the facts before you, and you find that those factors have been met, then you can grant the application. If you feel they have not, one or more of them have not been met, and you deny it, you have to specify the basis for your denial. You can also, within reason, and I don't know if this has been considered or even needs to be considered, but you can attach appropriate conditions to the grant of the special land use. I don't know that that's necessary in this instance, and I'm not trying to encourage you to attach or require conditions where none are necessary or are inappropriate. I just alert you that if there are special issues that need to be addressed with respect to the use of the facility, this particular location, then you can require as a condition of your granting the special land use an appropriate condition. And the last thing I'll just mention is this is about the use of the property. It's not about the persons who are using the property.
Okay, thank you. Do commission members have any questions for anybody, actually? Now's the time for commission members to speak. Anyone?
I'm sorry. Happy middle or
No questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Smiles here. If there's no further questions or no questions, I'd like to make a motion to deny the application for 104 South Main Street. And the reason being, I believe it does not meet the retail business as set forth in the village ordinances.
Well, it's kind of early to do that. Is there support for that?
I'll support it so we can discuss it.
Okay.
Grand staff.
Well, who would like to contribute to this discussion?
I'll start off.
Go ahead, Mr. Fowler.
Thank you. I listened to the early public forum of the support for the this AAA membership at this position. I think Mr. Parker indicated that there used to be an insurance agency at this specific location. Obviously, his mind goes back further than mine, not calling him old or anything, but I think I think Mr. Parker has a good feel for the current DDA area, and plus being on that area. And I think that maybe our DDA rules might be a little bit backdated because we no longer have the DNC or dollar store downtown. I think that Mr. Stagner, you might agree with me with this, or I'm not sure, but they might need to be a little bit updated to support something like this.
Well, thank you. My personal view of this is that the ordinance is somewhat antiquated and needs to be reviewed. We can make recommendations later I do have a question for Mr. Casson regarding this application, and that is site plan review. We have in our packets a small site plan. How does Mr. Casson feel about this plan that we have? It seems, I don't remember, the building has been occupied before. And do you feel that this is an adequate site plan, or should we require more if we approve this land use?
This is an existing tenant space, not an existing building that's being added to, or totally reused in a different purpose. So in that regard, site plan is not usually applicable. It's usually just a review by the building department. And from what I see here, that's all that would be necessary.
Okay, thanks for that. So my view, I'll give you my view on this, if we're just, which is, I see no use to deny this land use. I mean, there's nothing in the review standards that we really can reject. It doesn't really flow with our ordinance, which is why I think it should be reviewed by council. And that's sort of how I feel about it. Does anybody else like to comment in that direction?
Yeah, I would.
Go ahead.
Chairman. Yeah, so Jay Foltz here. I personally think it's not a bad idea going into town there. What was there before was that baby imaging place. Looks like ultrasound must be. I would assume that brought less traffic into town than this would. And then we do have other things in the village, like they did say about the Tar Associates and them guys that are already there. So I don't see why. I like the idea. Me personally, I don't see why we would deny it.
Okay, one more personal note. I was a member of the board at the Starkweather Arts Center for a long time, and members of the board would often say, how do we get more foot traffic into the gallery at Starkweather? And my answer was always the same. How do we get more foot traffic into town? We don't have a lot of that. So that's why I feel that the ordinance needs to be reviewed. The intent is great, but I don't think it functions very well. And on some levels, anybody, who wants to move a business in that isn't perhaps retail, they just have to go to the special land use, which really can't reject them as long as they comply with the 8 points, which we're going to go over in just a few minutes. So that being said, do we have support for Mr. Grandstaff offered support? Do we want to vote on that?
Yes, you have to vote on that.
So, okay, roll call vote. We do have support for his motion to deny. And
Okay.
You want to have a roll?
Stegner?
I'm opposed to denial. No.
Okay. Fowler?
No.
Foltz?
No.
Stevens?
No.
Webb?
No.
Hall?
No.
That's it, Jim.
So that motion is denied. So let's move on to special land use review.
Can I say something? I'd like to make a motion that we approve.
If I could, before you move on, I didn't hear the names of the movement and the supporter in the roll call for the vote.
Correct.
And so even though you can anticipate their vote because the motion was made and it was supported, I still think you need to ask them to vote.
Okay.
Correct.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I withdraw that until they vote, until that's taken.
Smiles?
Yes.
And Grandstaff.
No.
Okay.
Mr. Stagner, can I make a
So
motion?
this motion was denied, yes?
Yes.
Correct.
All right, Mr. Fowler.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the special land use for a AAA membership office
If we can clean that.
at 104 South Main.
Okay,
With some additions.
go ahead.
Additions being what?
What additions would you like to make, Mr. Grandstaff?
Number one, there was a request for inspections. Have those been returned to the village yet? Have the inspections been completed?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm sorry.
Is that on us, though?
Again, if I could.
Yeah, please.
There was a motion made, I believe. I did not hear support. If there was support, I apologize. But if there is support, then, okay, I apologize. And then let me just suggest that if you're inclined to grant it, the motion is to approve it. I would approve it or suggest that you approve it as an insurance agency as opposed to a AAA insurance agency. It's possible Mr. Sirikoff may change sponsors or somebody else may go in there. If you think it's appropriate as an insurance agency, I would caution against the specificity of naming the insurance company.
Okay. I will change that special land use to an insurance agency such as Mr. Clark suggested.
Okay.
At 104 South Main.
Okay.
And then I apologize about the seconding or the support. If it's been supported, please have at your discussion.
I did support that, Jay Foltz.
Thank you, Jay.
Now, before we can approve this, we have to take a look at the review standards. We have to vote on 8 different points. Everybody remembers that, right? So if we vote, I'll read off these things. We vote on, go ahead. Jay?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying okay in my head. I must have said that out loud. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to read these. We vote on each one, roll call. So that's 8 roll calls. So section 1602, review standards, and considering all applications for special land use, the Planning Commission shall review each case individually as to its appropriateness and must find affirmatively to each of the following standards of the proposed land use. The petitioner should submit a written document with the site plan which responds to each of these 8 standards, which that has been fulfilled. So the first standard, number 1, I will read and then we will vote on that. The proposed special land use shall be of such location, size, and character that it will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development of the surrounding neighborhood and or vicinity and applicable regulations of the zoning district in which it is to be located. Roll call, please.
Stagner.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Foltz.
Yes.
Smiles.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Grandstaff.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2, the proposed use shall be of a nature that will make vehicular and pedestrian traffic no more hazardous than is normal for the district involved, taking into consideration vehicular turning movements in relations to routes of traffic flow, proximity, and relationship to intersections, adequacy of site distances, location, and access of off-street parking and provisions for pedestrian traffic, with particular attention to minimizing child vehicle interface. Okay. Roll call?
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Smiles,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Stegner.
Yes.
Okay?
Number 3, so passes.
Yes.
Number 3, the proposed use shall be designed as to the location, size, intensity, site layout, and periods of operation of which any such proposed use to eliminate any possible nuisance emanating therefrom, which might be noxious to the occupants of any other nearby
Draw attention to him.
permitted uses, whether by reason of dust, noise, fumes, vibration, smoke, or lights. Roll call, please.
Fowler,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Smiles,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Stegner.
Yes.
Pass.
Number 4, the proposed use shall be such that the proposed location and height of buildings or structures and location, nature and height of walls, fences, and landscaping will not interfere with or discourage the appropriate development and use of adjacent land and buildings or unreasonably affect their value. Roll call, please.
Webb,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Smiles,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I already asked you. Stevens, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Stegner.
Okay, number 5. That passed, correct?
Yes, correct, Jim. Yes.
The proposed use shall relate harmoniously with the physical and economic aspects. Wait a minute, did I just do this one?
You're on number 5
You're on
now.
F.
I'm on 5. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Sorry, I apologize. Let's start again. The proposed use shall relate harmoniously with the physical and economic aspects of adjacent land uses as regards prevailing shopping habits, convenience of access by prospective patrons, continuity of development, and need for particular services and facilities in specific areas of the village. Roll call, please.
Foltz,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Smiles,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Stegner.
Yes.
Pass.
Number 6, the proposed use is necessary for the public convenience at the proposed location. Roll call, please.
Fowler,
Yes.
Stegner,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Smiles,
No.
Stevens,
Yes.
Steven,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Hey.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
You're not muted.
pass.
Got it.
Number 7.
Yes, okay. The proposed use is designed, located, and planned, and to be operated that the public health, safety, and welfare will be protected. Roll call, please.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Smiles,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Stegner.
Yes.
Pass.
Number 8, the proposed use shall not be detrimental or injurious to the neighborhood within which it is to be located, nor shall such use operate as a deterrent to future land uses permitted within the said zoning district, and shall be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. Sorcerer, go ahead.
Fowler,
Yes.
Foltz,
Yes.
Smiles,
No.
Stevens,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Grandstaff,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Stegner.
Yes.
Pass.
Okay, so special land use passes. Mr. Fowler, would you like to, can we re-motion with Mr. Clark?
First.
Excuse me, Chairman.
Yes.
I believe we need to rescind that if we're going to change that.
Yeah.
Your motion, his motion?
Am I correct in saying that?
Well, if you want to change the motion, it either needs to be amended by the movant, Mr. Fowler, and approved in support by Mr. Foltz, or the motion needs to be withdrawn with the support withdrawn and a new motion made, but you should be firm on your record that each of the items for consideration were addressed and responded in the affirmative. I'm a little troubled by the decoupling of the motion to approve from the determination that all 8 factors have been affirmatively met. My recommendation is if there's an amendment to the motion, make it as such as opposed to a separate motion, and see if it gets the support of Mr. Foltz, and then vote on your amended motion.
Okay, I can do that. Can I ask a question, though, Mr. Steger?
Yes.
Now, is this pertaining to Mr. Grandstaff, your concern regarding the inspections?
Correct.
Okay.
And I have one other also.
Well, can you tell me what that is, and I will add it to my amendment.
Well, I am looking at the photo of the front of the building, and you know I'm a stickler on signs, and I think the signage is not in compliance with our village ordinances. Did he get a permit? Did he review what was allowed in the village? I think we need the village office to answer that. But I'm concerned about the size of the signage, and also has all of the inspections that were requested been completed?
Would the size of the sign actually hold us up on this motion here?
Well, I think they're in compliance. Cindy Wilson?
Yes. Can I speak?
Yes.
All right. Yes, they are in compliance. It's been reviewed. The sign does meet all the standards of our sign ordinance, but there was not a permit until yesterday, I believe yesterday they came in to apply for the permit.
So paperwork-wise, they're in compliance right now.
They did meet the requirements for the sign ordinance, yes.
Chairman Segner?
Yes.
I also reviewed the sign request, and it is in compliance. It is in compliance with the ordinance.
Okay, it just seemed large.
It's large, apparently.
I need those glasses that you got on, Bill. I can't see.
All right, let's go back now. I asked Mr. Fowler if he would like to amend his.
I will amend the motion.
Wait.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was referring to Mr. Clark's advice that we approve an insurance company, not AAA. So if you want to amend your motion to say an insurance company,
We did amend that. We did correct that in the beginning.
Okay, great.
Right. The amendment was regarding the inspections. And Mrs. Wilson, since you're still on the line, have the inspections been performed at the facility?
No, they have not. So that definitely is something that I believe we need to, include in this.
Okay.
Just to make sure that all of those are done prior to moving in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is it possible to? I'm sorry. Excuse me. Is it possible to read back the motion, Cindy, that Mr. Fowler actually read originally? That way we know if we have the AAA in there or just the insurance company.
He did put the insurance company in the previous one.
Okay, cool. Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That AAA or insurance company?
No, insurance company.
Insurance company.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Casson, these zoning compliance things that Mr. Grandstaff is interested in, is that within our purview on the commission? A copy of the lease and all that?
Well, I don't believe you can deny it based on anything like that, but you certainly can make your motion subject to all building permits and necessary other permits being secured prior to occupancy of the building.
I will make that motion. An amendment to my motion.
Okay.
Can I make it now?
State your amendment to your motion, and Mr. Foltz needs to support it.
Okay. Amendment to the motion that all necessary permits and certifications must be approved before occupancy. A C of O or whatever you call it.
I'll support that.
Okay, roll call vote.
Stegner?
Yes.
Fowler? Oh, sorry,
yes.
Fowler. Foltz?
Yes.
Smiles?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Webb?
Yes.
Hall?
Yes.
Grandstaff?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Cindy, you need my vote.
Fowler?
Yes. There we go.
I asked for Fowler.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It's all right. I got you.
My fault.
Got you twice. All right.
Motion's approved, so.
Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Stegner, if I could, please, this is Christine Malthon. I just wanted to ask a follow-up question while we had Mr. Clark and everybody present. You said that you wanted to send this forward to Village Council. Do we, by special land use, then have to ratify your decision at our next meeting?
No. Jim can speak for himself. He's on the line, certainly. I think what he was speaking about is the general tone and tenor and application of the ordinance about retail space versus office or non-retail space. The decision by the Planning Commission grants the special land use. It's not subject to review by the Village Council.
Perfect. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn?
Well, let me state that the special land use has been granted. So that's clear to everybody, and go ahead and make your motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
I'm sorry, who is the support?
Support.
Well, I said second, so I don't know.
Whoever wants
Support.
to go ahead.
Support by Webb.
We'll just stay on
Stegner.
that.
Roll call.
Stegner. Foltz.
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Hall.
Yes.
Grandstaff.
Yes, please.
All set.
What's for dinner, Bill?
I have no idea. My wife left, so I'm
I
not
know
sure
it.
now.
On your own, eh?
I'm waiting for wonderful news and some very, very
Yeah.
good asparagus.
We made another one. Yeah, another one. Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone.